One thing I keep seeing with my boots on the ground videos and I keep sharing with you guys here on the channel is all the houses that I'm coming across lately that are not paying their property taxes, and by some of them by a pretty wide margin. And just a year ago, you hardly ever saw in any of my videos a property that was for sale that wasn't paying property taxes. And these are just properties that I see for sale. Like randomly I'm walking down the street like I am right now. I don't plan ahead of time which houses I'm gonna walk past or whatever, or which houses are for sale. So I'll see a house and I'll look up the information later on when I'm editing the video, and I put those voiceover sections in there that you guys hear. I'm actually surprised at how many properties I'm seeing lately that are delinquent on paying their property taxes. And somebody brought up a pretty good point in one of my videos, like, hey, most people have escrowed mortgage payments, so chances are if you're not paying your property taxes, you're probably not paying your mortgage either. Now, that's just an assumption, but it is a very high possibility that that's what's happening. I don't know the percentage of properties that have their property taxes escrowed with their mortgage payment, but I would imagine the percentage is pretty high. You know, last week, just in one video, I came across 3 different houses that were not paying their property taxes, okay? And one of them hadn't been paying since 2020. They literally haven't paid their property tax bill since they bought this house in 2020, and that house is behind $60,000 in property taxes, which is very significant, okay? I'm doing a real estate video about property taxes.
Good for you. What's your name? I'll follow you.
My name's Michael Bordenero.
And I'm Marcia Maya. I'm at 59th and LaGourse.
Oh, nice. Nice to meet you, Marcia.
Pleasure. Likewise.
Yeah, look me up. You'll find me right away.
Amazing.
All right. Thanks, Marcia. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. It's always nice to meet friendly neighbors. So I saw another house in that video that was an investment property that was purchased back in 2019 that they've been renting ever since. And I'm willing to bet that the property taxes and insurance have jumped so high for the owner of that rental property that they're no longer profitable, because those people are delinquent by $35,000. And then there was another one for sale in that same video that was delinquent by $20,000, guys. These are large numbers that people aren't paying, and it makes you wonder, how big are their financial problems to let go of property that expensive, right? Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to sell these properties for a profit, and then they just say, okay, well, I paid far less for the property, and then when it sells, the property taxes will get paid. My financial troubles are over. And that works right now while home values are still really high and there's relatively few homes on the market for sale. But what happens when that's no longer the case? And like I said earlier, those are just the houses that I walk past for sale that we see are having financial troubles. What about all the ones that are not for sale that you see are having financial trouble? Well, I decided to take a look at the property tax database here in South Florida to see how many properties are delinquent right now on paying their property taxes, guys. And the numbers are staggering, okay? First of all, when you take a look at this, it shows here that you can see 1 through 5,000 results. For whatever reason, the system cannot return more than 5,000 results on any given search query, okay? So when you search just for properties that are delinquent on property taxes in Miami-Dade and Broward County, it gives you 5,000 results. So that means there's a minimum of 5,000 homes in Miami-Dade and in Broward County that are not paying, probably in Palm Beach too. Let me look it up. So you don't even know to the extent of how many people are not paying, okay? So we could be seeing waves of homes coming for sale in the near future from these people that are not paying property taxes. Maybe they're in some step of the process of going into foreclosure right now. I don't know. But it's fascinating to see that there's that many properties that are not paying their bills right now. And people are just getting hit with the 1-2 punch, guys. Those are just the property taxes that people aren't paying, right? Well, they're also getting hit with these massive insurance increases like we talk about here on the channel that have gone up 2x, 3x in some cases for a lot of people. And none of this even includes regular expenses that homeowners have to upkeep the home, just regular maintenance costs, you know, landscaping, keeping the property clean, you know, taking care of little things that come up. Well, this is kind of a rare listing for sale at $3.5 million here that kind of went pretty quick for a property in this price range. They listed it in December and already went under contract as of the middle of March. and they're on their way to a sale. So good for them. And it's not a flip either. So that's pretty rare as well. They bought it in 2012 for $1.4 million, and they're paying their property taxes. The bill is about $23,000 a year as of 2023. And I keep repeating this on the channel, guys. This is not exclusive to Florida. This is not a problem that we're just seeing here. In fact, I saw a video on YouTube last night showing how people in Illinois are getting crazy property tax assessment increases right now, in some cases up to 650% increase in the assessed values of their homes. This is absolutely crazy. They talked to one lady who said that, you know, her entire net worth is wrapped up in the property. They've had this house for 35 years. They're planning on passing it down to their kids, but with the recent hike in property taxes, they may have to sell this property, and that inheritance is just going to get wiped out, all because of property taxes being too high. That's how serious this is right now. And take a look at this. I snapped this screenshot when I was watching this video. Okay, look at the difference in assessed value on this person's home. In 2022, it was $322,000. For 2023, it jumped up to $878,000. I mean, that is criminal, okay? It's completely criminal. And that's an extreme case. But the average, okay, that people are seeing over there, and this is in Cook County, Illinois, by the way, the average increase that people are seeing in their assessed values is anywhere between 32 to 64%. You have another one here. Take a look at this one. Their assessed value in 2022 was $519,000, okay? Now it's $974,000, which increases their property tax bill by $18,000 per year. For anybody who's keeping track, that's an extra $1,500 per month. So when people lie to you and say that when you buy a house, your house payment's never going to go up, and that's why it's so much better than renting, this is proof of that lie, guys. These people are going to see their mortgage payment go up by $1,500 per month because of the increase in property taxes. How crazy is that? How many people do you think can actually afford an increase like that? You know, that's probably more than most people's monthly mortgage payment is to begin with, let alone seeing a $1,500 a month increase. And to make matters worse, a lot of these are supposed errors, right? The county is saying, well, yeah, these are probably all done by mistake, so submit an appeal and maybe we can get this worked out for you, okay? So many people that have had this problem have filed appeals to get their tax bill back down to reality, and guess what? Their appeals are getting denied. Yeah, that's right. So they're telling them to appeal. They go ahead and go through the appeals process and they say, nope, sorry, this is correct. This is how much you're actually going to pay. Yeah. Sounds like a mistake that happened on purpose, if you ask me. All by design. And I want to bring up something else that was brought to my attention the other day I thought was interesting, is we see how the economy is supposedly doing well right now. Our GDP is great. The Fed's not lowering interest rates because the economy is still on fire and moving strong, right? Well, you know, one thing that we know is we've had a ton of illegal immigration lately. Half of the jobs that have been created over the past year, even though the jobs numbers continually get revised down and are not actually true, even though half of the jobs that were created in 2023 are government jobs, all right? So government jobs are responsible for a lot of this job creation, which kind of artificially gooses the numbers, if you ask me, because the private sector is not producing these jobs. And here's the crazy thing. A lot of these jobs are government jobs that assist illegal immigrants with getting interviews for asylum and different things like that, you know, hardship. And so basically, a lot of the GDP increase that we've been seeing over the past year is due to the illegal immigration. And guess what? When local cities have to spend money on increased services for people pouring in, that shows up as GDP, because when money is spent, that's how GDP is created in this country. So all this GDP information that we're seeing, which is not even as great as they're saying it is largely based on all the illegal immigration. Just some food for thought there for anybody who is convinced that all these numbers about the economy that we're seeing are so great. Just know that a lot of this is all being propped up by people pouring over our borders illegally. Now, people are having just as many problems with insurance as they are with the property tax increases, okay? And I was watching something else the other day talking about how these insurance companies are coming up with increasing your auto insurance, you know, like what factors are going into this, right? And if you guys haven't seen this, this is absolutely crazy. So they say that your credit score has such a high weight when it comes to determining how much you're going to pay for auto insurance that you could have a high credit score, get a DUI, and still have a lower monthly auto insurance premium than somebody that has a lower credit score. Did you know that? Because I didn't know that until a couple days ago. So your credit score is literally more important than how well you drive. Just think about that for a moment. And you know why this is the truth? Why people that have high credit scores can still get away with getting a DUI and having a lower insurance premium? The insurance companies say that according to their data and stats, that shows that if you have a high credit score, you're less likely to file any sort of insurance claim. So, what this means is it backs up what somebody once told me several months ago about insurance. If the insurance company thinks that you're going to file a claim, they're probably not even going to give you insurance to begin with. And if they do, it's going to be very high. So they're basically betting on the fact that people that have lower credit scores are much more likely to file a claim, and that's why their rates are higher versus somebody who has a higher credit score. This also proves, guys, that insurance companies have no desire in actually insuring you. Insurance is basically one big scam, okay? They're betting on the fact that they're gonna collect premiums for you for decades and you're never gonna file a claim. And if you do, then there's a high probability that you might get dropped, okay? This applies to all forms of insurance, not just homeowners insurance, but also auto insurance too. And on top of that, if that's not already bad enough, they will also discriminate against you based on if you have a blue or white collar job, and if you have a college degree, whether or not you're single or married or divorced, do you rent a home, do you own a home? All those things are going to go into determining your auto insurance rate. But your credit score has the highest weight more than anything else. So for people out there that are complaining that their insurance is too high, I mean, look at me, guys. I have almost perfect credit. My credit score is like 830, okay? And I saw a 25% increase in my auto insurance rates this past renewal season in December. So I can only imagine what people that have bad credit are seeing with renewal rates right now. And what this also goes to show you is it just backs up what I've been saying, guys. If you want to get your life in order, you need to make sure you're out of debt. You need to make sure you're keeping your credit score healthy. Those two things alone are going to put you miles ahead of everybody else, you know, especially when it comes to when you want to buy that new car, when you want to buy a house, like all those things, just having no debt and having a high credit score are going to work wonders for you in those situations, especially as we head into an economic downturn. Because when the banks decide to stop lending to people, who do you think they're going to stop lending to first? Oh, that's right. People that are a higher credit risk. People that have no debt and have good credit scores are a very low credit risk and are very likely to still be getting loans while everybody else is getting denied. And you know, one thing I thought about too is everybody seems to be very happy about this National Association of Realtors settlement and the lawsuit that's happening and how buyer's agents are gonna go away or not get paid as much anymore or whatever, right? A lot of people are very happy to hear about this. But I would also put out there a question like, if people are happy about this, that people who make a commission for a living are going to be obsolete, well, what does that say about the rest of the careers out there that people make commissions off of? What kind of future is out there for them if you're an insurance salesman and you make commissions off of that? What about the people that sell medical supplies to doctors and make commissions off of that? What about your average car salesman that is selling cars and makes commissions off of that? I think that what this does is also going to put out there a precedent for every other industry that works off of commission, and I will almost guarantee that in the next several years, you're going to see a lot of these different jobs and careers be on the chopping block and try to get their commissions lowered as well or eliminated, because if they see that they can do it with real estate, then they're going to start trying to do it with a lot of other things, guys. And with AI, with where technology is going, that's going to help expedite that for sure. So anybody out there who works a commission-based job, or you know somebody who does, there's a high probability in the next several years that your field could see massive hits with your income too. So just think about that. It's easy to laugh when it happens to somebody else, right? But it's not going to be too funny when it happens to you. So just want to put that out there. And to prove how great this economy is going right now, Stellantis, they laid off 400 high-paid tech workers. And of course, they always have some kind of ridiculous saying that goes along with all these layoffs. Here's what Stellantis said. It says, while we understand this is difficult news, these actions will better align resources while preserving the critical skills needed to protect our competitive advantage as we remain laser focused on implementing our EV product defensive and our Dare Forward 2030 strategic plan. So in other words, they're losing so much money trying to produce these EVs, they just need to get rid of people, because these extra salaries are bleeding people dry, all right? And what are they doing? How are they replacing these people? They're outsourcing the jobs to India, Brazil, and Mexico. They're hiring much lower paid tech workers from these companies to do the same jobs that Americans are doing for a fraction of the cost in order to produce an EV car that you can't afford. So think about that whenever you hear about these EV initiatives and everybody says this is a good thing, whatever. It's costing American jobs, guys. So you know who's benefiting from this? The citizens in India, Brazil, and Mexico that are getting these jobs from Stellantis. And to make matters worse, it's not just Stellantis. All the big automakers are going through this right now. GM, they recently just did the same thing. And what's funny is, they specifically come out and say, we're not doing this because the economy is bad. We're doing this because the expenses to make and produce the electric vehicles have gone up substantially. That's what these automakers are saying. It's not me saying this. So it's just funny how so many people are in favor of this movement, but it's actually doing more harm than good in many cases. And if it's costing people jobs and livelihoods, I don't understand how that's a good thing, guys. One thing I haven't talked about in a long time is reverse mortgages. I recently saw a story that talked about something you really need to watch out for if you have a reverse mortgage, or if you're planning on doing one in the future. Because if you already have one, it's kind of too late. You've already signed all the documents, but if it's something you're considering in the future, you need to know about this. What it is a non-recourse clause. Reverse mortgages can be beneficial to some people because you can take the money and use it to pay for your living expenses if you're short on cash for retirement, but you're equity rich. Some people use it to pay off an existing mortgage, whatever people decide to do with it. But here's what happens. You need to keep repaying the loan until you pass away. That's how this goes. Now here's where the non-recourse clause comes into effect and why you want to have this in your reverse mortgage, okay? So when you pass away, the property will be sold and you don't need to repay the funds for the reverse mortgage that you receive until you pass away or you end up defaulting on the loan. And when this happens, the lender will foreclose and sell the home to recover the loan balance plus the interest and fees that are owed. But if the sale proceeds are insufficient to cover the loan of the reverse mortgage, the lender can only recover the property's value and not look to the borrower's other assets for the difference, which is called a non-recourse clause in the reverse mortgage. And so if your reverse mortgage does not have this non-recourse clause, then your other assets in your estate can be on the hook for repaying the balance of your reverse mortgage if your house was not sufficient enough. And to make matters a little bit more complicated, just looking through your reverse mortgage documents for the terms non-recourse isn't really going to help you in some cases, because what this is more of a description of how the loan works rather than a direct term that you're going to find in the paperwork. So you need to look more commonly for phrases like lender may enforce its rights under this note only through sale of the property or similar. You need to look for some kind of clause like that in your reverse mortgage to make sure that the rest of your assets are not going to be on the hook. And if you already have a reverse mortgage, maybe you can get out of this. Maybe you can pay off the reverse mortgage and get a new one somehow. And if you're just not sure, but you want to be sure, you're going to have to hire a real estate attorney to look over the documents for you guys. So this is probably a good idea for anybody who's not in a reverse mortgage yet, or even if you already are in one, maybe you should hire a real estate attorney to comb through the documents and see if the rest of your estate's going to be on the hook when you die or not. I don't know, guys. Lots of bullets out there to be dodging right now. You got to be like Neo in the Matrix in this economy to basically survive all of this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you don't want to wait for my next video to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.